do it.
History just happened. Just remember this moment. Okay. We were first introduced to Lena Dunham through her groundbreaking series, Girls. Now, she is pulling back the curtain on her professional and personal life in a new memoir, Famesick.
Yeah, we are going to chat with Lena in just a moment, but first, a look at her story.
This whole thing feels like a puzzle with no possible solution, like a Rubik's Cube.
Lena Dunham burst onto the scene in 2012 as the creator and star of Girls, delivering a raw, unfiltered look at millennial life.
You just said snack room, and everything blurred.
The series turned her into an overnight sensation and created culturally defining moments that had everyone talking.
I think that I may be the voice of my generation.
Lena took home a Golden Globe and was praised for her honesty and willingness to put herself on display, flaws and all.
I feel like I'm always getting all these props for being brave, and I'm like, I didn't do anything brave. I feel totally cool about being naked.
But with fame came intense scrutiny and criticism, making her a pop culture lightning rod. Off-screen, Lena's been candid about her personal struggles, including her battle with endometriosis, which led to a hysterectomy, and her struggle with addiction, all while navigating a very public heartbreak. Now in her new memoir, Famesick, she's opening up more than ever about her health, her experience with fame, and what it really costs to come of age in Hollywood. This is your life.
You know,
this is your life.
We're commenting like that was
Hi,
good.
Lena.
Hi.
This book is beautiful and
Jenna.
funny and heartbreaking and all the things about what it means to be a woman and
Thank you.
a human. Let's start with the title. You say and you write that being famous and being sick are kind of connected. And as I read this, I watched you become more and more famous and also more and more ill.
Yeah. I firstly thank you so much for reading it.
Of
It means
course.
so much coming from you too. Thank you. And when that was the title that came to me as I began writing. And what I was thinking about was the idea that being famous and being sick are two conditions that we're sort of taught not to talk about. They're two different kinds of isolation that other people don't necessarily want to hear you complain about for different reasons. And I also think that, of course, we understand from having watched the history of Hollywood that becoming famous only exacerbates whoever and whatever you are. So there are people who take to it like little ducks to water, and there are people who have a really challenging time. And my health issues were always in the background, but as the attention became more intense, they entered the foreground.
And I would imagine they would flare up. You know, anytime you're stressed or you feel scrutinized, your health issues, if you have anything underlying, you know what I mean? The volume, of course you know what I mean, the volume just turns up. And if let's take you back to the Girls' days, right?
Yeah.
And you remember, you know, your body was scrutinized. You know, what would you say to that girl now in her 20s?
It's very wild now for me to look back at the kind of feedback that I got, because I look at myself and I see this, especially now that my body has gone through so much.
Yes.
And I feel so grateful for what it's done for me. But to look at that girl, that kind of sweet, fresh-faced, young, kind of tiny
Even looking at those
girl.
clips that Jenna just showed, you know?
And the idea, what really upsets me more than what I went through is the idea of the people who were watching that feedback and what it said to them about their own bodies. There were plenty of people who were watching who were bigger than me or dealing with illness or disability. And what it said to them about their own desirability and their own worth, I think is, I've made peace with my own experience, but I hate that other people had to watch it and take in a message about themselves that I think is pretty cruel.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. You write in the book about so much, but partly about a complicated relationship you had with your co-star, Adam Driver. And I mean, everything from sort of moments where you were his boss, I mean, you were the director of this television series. So moments where there was violence or anger, moments where there could have been romantic feelings. How does it sit with you now?
I wrote about a workplace dynamic. I didn't want to put anything in the book that I felt like wouldn't be useful potentially to a reader who maybe wasn't even in show business or connected to it. And I think I wrote about a dynamic that a lot of young women can understand from the workplace. And the complicated thing is that I spent 8.5 years writing this book. So I was super intentional with every word that I put on the page. And then you come on live TV with cool, glamorous girls like you, and are kind of, asked to rehash it in a way. And I think I really want people to read it in context and understand it in the totality.
Yeah, as opposed to just seeing the headlines that are sort of splashed everywhere.
Yeah, I think that every woman who has worked understands what it's like to...
Well, especially with intense hours and sort of...
With intense hours, we were all very young, and it's as much about my experience of coming to some kind of understanding of my own power as a boss than it is about anything else.
And using your voice.
When you were in that season, did you ever think that you guys would still communicate again, or that you would, stay in touch?
I think, I really, in the book, really share that there were a lot of really magical moments, and our entire cast has a sort of bond that I don't think can ever be broken.
Yeah. One of the parts of the book that was hard for me to read, and I don't think we talk about enough in our culture, is platonic friendship breakups and how devastating they can be.
Yeah.
You wrote the show with Jenny Connor, who was your partner, but also became really like a sister to you.
Yeah.
And your friendship dissolved really with the rise of your health issues.
Yeah.
Was that part hard for you to write about?
It was hard for me to write about, and I think that the complicated thing about platonic breakups is that we have a big narrative about romantic breakups in our culture, and our narrative is, besties forever. And every woman I know has been through the dissolution of friendship.
It's interesting you said that, because Jenna and I were talking this morning, and we had a mutual conversing, and it was exactly what you talk about in your book. And it's just, Jenna was just saying, it's just something we don't
discuss enough.
And I don't know about you, but I think we talk about this desire to impress men, but no offense, gentlemen at home, my desire to impress women is much greater.
100%. We dress for each other.
I was going to say every outfit, every haircut, every word.
That way.
Yes.
And so that when you feel that you've disappointed another woman, for me, that's a much more painful experience.
Yeah.
With a boy, I'm like, he'll get over it.
Exactly. Or you will.
Yeah.
Right?
That's a good
Pretty
point.
soon.
But one of the things that also happened at the same time is that you had a 5-year relationship end.
Yeah.
And it went from, like, in the book, y'all messengered each other or DM'd or whatever, like baby in 2015 or marriage in 2016. I mean, you can tell I read your book.
You went close. You did line by line.
She's the book queen.
Listen, I know she's single-handedly keeping the whole industry afloat. I am
and
grateful.
when she reads it and really reads it, that means you're doing something.
Well,
right.
I loved it.
Thank
and I
you,
actually
Jenna.
I read it in such an intense period of time that I dreamed about you. And I think people will feel that sort of visceral rawness
I'm
of
honored.
your writing.
I'm honored.
We were together. We had a blast. But anyway, to have a future like that come to an end while you also were facing, some serious health issues, like, what was that like for you?
I think, again, everybody knows what it's like to sort of have your first love and create a narrative about what that's going to be. And it's a super powerful, potent feeling. And unless someone is lucky enough to marry their 7th grade boyfriend, we all know what it's like to sort of have that dream come to an end and to grapple with that.
Yeah.
And so I just sort of wanted to bring that experience to the page. And I think that, my experience of also losing my fertility around the same time, a lot of dreams came to an end. But the amazing thing about life is it takes you where you need to go. And, we're both happily married now. And clearly, we're exactly where we need to be. And I have so much gratitude that he was there for me at that time in my life.
It's beautiful.
Well, we need to talk more.
Yeah.
Lena is sticking around. We are going to talk more about her health and how she found love again right after this.
It was good.
Thank you, Lena.
Thank you.
I mean, we could talk forever.
We are back with actress and writer Lena Dunham, who poured her heart and soul into a very candid new memoir. It's called Famesick. You guys are just, I'm telling you.
We're just chatting away. Lena, you write so bravely about the health and the illness you have sort of battled for years and years. You write about at 31 years old, in the sort of prime of your career, walking into an ER and begging for a hysterectomy because your endometriosis was so crippling.
Yeah.
That day must have been brutal for you. And how did you come to that decision? And how did you grieve that?
That day, I was with my mother. I had just done a Q&A at the wonderful Metrograph Theater. And I looked at her, and she knows me so well, and she just looked in my eyes, and she was like, you can't take it anymore.
Yeah.
And what was so beautiful was I had her with me, and I had her full support, and that made it so much clearer to me, because this person who knows me and loves me went, you can't go on like this. And it's interesting because the framing is that you make a choice to do this, but if you're in pain 24 hours a day, it isn't really a choice, because no one can live like that. And what breaks my heart is there are so many people who are living like that, because the delay to diagnosis for endometriosis averages 10 years. I mean, finding a doctor who will look at you and not just say, this is what it feels like to be a woman. This is what it feels like to have your period.
And the cramps are out of control.
Yeah.
I have so many girlfriends who have dealt with it. Before we went to commercial break, you talked about the idea of the life that you've imagined not coming to fruition and not happening. And this is a huge part of it, because if you've imagined yourself with children in that way, or pregnancy, or all of those things, and to have to make that decision, how do you process all of that?
In the moment, my pain was so overriding that I put those other thoughts aside. And it was only in the aftermath of the surgery that I started to feel the weight of what had happened. And some people don't dream about being mothers, and
but you had.
But I had, and it was a big part of my identity, was that I was going to do that someday, and in this way. The amazing thing is, since then, I have met so many people who have built their families in so many different ways.
Of course.
And I've really come to a place where I feel really excited about.
Like there's still a possibility.
Yes, in whatever way it happens, I will feel so grateful.
You've also been very candid. You know, doctors say a lot of different things, and they give you prescriptions to take away the pain, and take this and take that, and you talk about how it led to an addiction, you know, for pills. You know, when did you realize that this is more than just taking it and feeling better, that it was an issue, that it was a problem?
Honestly, it took me so long to understand that I had developed a dependence on pharmaceuticals. And the thing about drugs is that they really work until they stop working.
Yeah.
Everything has a moment.
Was it just not enough? It didn't cut it anymore, so you have to take more? Or?
Honestly, I started to feel even more unwell. It stopped making me feel well, and it started making me feel like there was a veil between me and the rest of the world.
Yes.
And then once I realized that I actually couldn't stop without professional help, and one of the reasons I wanted to share this is I think it is one of the biggest kind of narrative threads in America right now is the consequences of overprescribing and the consequences of the pharmaceutical industry not being transparent about what these medications are, what they do, and the effect that they'll have on your life.
Yes.
And I have met so many people who share my story, and you know, I've been sober for more than 8 years.
Which is amazing.
Thank you.
And taking the pause you need. I mean, we could have talked about this book forever, because the other thing you talk about is sort of this overambition and work ethic that didn't give you the time to pause and allow yourself to even feel what type of pain you were in.
Yeah,
but
we were in the girl boss era. We were all girl bossing too close to the sun.
Right? We were leaning way in.
We were leaning all the way in, and then we fell over.
But you have exactly.
That's good.
You have fallen in love. You've taken some space for yourself. You've moved to the UK. You're working again. What is life like after you've taken this pause that I think you needed, just based on your words?
I needed it just to understand where I'd been and where I was going, to come to some understanding of what my body needed for me to be able to do this job that I love so much and feel so grateful to do. And the amazing thing is, even after all these experiences, I still love it. I still wake up like a little kid, excited.
How's your health?
My health, you know, I think for anyone with a chronic illness, it's always going to be a work in progress.
Yes.
It's like, you know, some people have a nice, tidy apartment, and some people have a house that needs to be repaired regularly.
Are you a regularly repaired?
And there's a leaking faucet, and we may have some, you know, issues with our roofing, but I have an amazing medical team, and I think all the time about how hard it was for me to find that, and I was in a very privileged position, and all the people who are living with chronic illness and can't access that. And so I hope that this book resonates for them.
No, it
of course it will.
It definitely will.
You're so lovely.
I mean, and it feels like you took the time for yourself, and I'm so excited to see what you're going to do next.
Thank you.
And let's hang out.
I can't wait.
We're going to hang out.
We've had a lot of kikiing behind the scenes.
Yes, we have. You guys, please check out this memoir. It's called Famesick. You can get it at your local indie bookstore or at today.com/books.
That was very good.
Thank you, Lena. You guys, thanks for watching.
I know. Come join us for all the fun every weekday on NBC.
Yeah, and don't forget to take us along when you're on the go.
Follow the Today with Jenna and Sheinelle podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen.